Okay, I'd like to call the Palm Springs Unified School District Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting to order. It's March 17th, 2022, and we're live streaming. May we have a roll call, please?
Member Cornett.
Here.
Member Girardi.
He's here. He's here somewhere.
Foundation Director Goodman.
John gave the thumbs up.
Present.
Gothier.
Here.
Member Bush.
Here.
And Dr. Sweezy.
Here.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion. Mark.
And a second? Okay, Ellen, a second? Okay, great. All those in favor say
Second.
aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion approved. Do we have any public comments or any email comments?
We have not received any public comments or email comments.
Thank you. Okay, information and discussion, a foundation update. Ellen, do you want to go ahead and do that?
Yes, thank you. So I have a couple of things I'll report on, and then we'll kind of close it with some fiscal numbers, which I think everybody will be really pleased to hear. First, I'll start with our essay contest, which is coming soon to a close. And just to refresh everyone's memory, we have a 7th grade writing contest or essay contest. This is for all 7th grade classes in all of the middle schools. That would also include our K through 8. And so Cielo Vista Charter is included in that. It is the brainstorm. And I apologize if I have unstable internet. So I'll speak a little slower. It was the brainchild of Barbara Boxer and Terry Kedover and Jeremy Hobbs of the Western Wind Foundation. And for a variety of reasons, they wanted to create an opportunity for kids to be able to express themselves. They also wanted to create an opportunity for literacy or advanced literacy and storytelling. And that really was behind it. We do have quotes from them, but that was kind of what generated the idea. And we are working with Noel Gutierrez, who is our English TOSA, and a couple of the teachers at our middle schools, and we rallied the troops and floated the idea about having an essay contest. And it seemed like everyone was on board. And I will say our funder is very generous because he knows how important money is to schools and money is to our children's families. So what they created was a 1st and 2nd place winner. The 1st place winner student will get $500, a Kindle, and they will get downloads so that they can read over the summer. 2nd place winner will get $250, a Kindle, and download so they can read over the summer. Each teacher that participates gets a $150 stipend and a $500 classroom grant. Out of the 20 teachers that we have, maybe there's about 22 teachers, but we have 12 teachers participating, and we have representatives from all of our middle schools. They will choose the top 20 essays from their class. So if they have an English teacher has 2 classes, then that teacher would have 40 submissions. They will submit 20 essays per class, and the judges will review those. The deadline for submission is April 9th. The judges will review them the last few weeks of April while the kids are on spring break, and there will be an awards reception. It has been moved to May 12th. It was scheduled a little earlier, but our judges are going to be out of town. They're unable to be there, so May 12th. And we hope that a calendar is clear for school board members and some cabinet members who are invited to the reception at the Air Museum. And that is from 5:30 to 7. We'll have our 1st place and 2nd place winners with their family members and their teachers at the event, along with our foundation board members. So we're expecting about 60 people. We think it'll be a really nice evening. The second thing I'll talk about is the kickoff of Lucy Lessons, which I think everyone is familiar with. And that started on March 7th. We had 26 teachers split into 2 different sessions. And that is really very interesting. It was interesting to kind of see teacher participation, really contrast and compare what we went into the school on Tuesday. And so Tuesday morning, we went to Cathedral City Elementary School, and we were able to work with some rock star administrators and teachers. And we were in a 4th grade class. So just some background, the Lucy lessons was developed by a teacher out of New Jersey. And she's been using Lucy lessons for years in the classroom to teach math. She did do the work to align her Lucy lessons of Jersey with the California state standards in English language and arts and math. Lucy Arnaz came to us and asked if we would consider piloting this to see how it would go. Their number one goal is engagement. It's really using the 1950s series to teach kids, and it would be a tool for their engagement purposes. So Tuesday we're in the classroom, and I will tell you, it's really where the magic was, because I'm sure a lot of community members were like, really, I Love Lucy in our classrooms, and other people were like, black and white television, and nobody has any reference for this. I will tell you, I was pretty stunned. Sergio had the opportunity to be in the classroom with a few other people, Desert Sun as well. And to my understanding, they're doing a feature article in the Desert Sun on this. Probably like academics and education, the presentation matches and is aligned with the teacher. Daisy Cardozo was our teacher, and she just hit a home run. She grasped the information. The kids had a chance to meet Lucy Arnaz for a Q&A at the beginning of the class, which was unbelievable. I can't imagine how they came up with the questions that they asked Lucy, and Lucy asked questions back. The interaction was, I mean, I've just never really seen a guest that they have no reference for in a classroom, and our class was so welcoming and so interested and so engaged. And then after Lucy's Q&A, they started the lesson, and it was a math lesson. And Daisy actually ran the classroom after only 2 hours of training. They watched the episode, and in between different moments of the episode, there were thought questions. There were paired share, group discussion, and Q&As. And then it got to the end of the episode where they actually had to do a math problem and work out that math solution. If you've watched the I Love Lucy episodes, Ricky Ricardo, who Desi Arnaz plays Ricky Ricardo, he goes in and out of English and Spanish quite often. And every time he went in and out of English and Spanish, the kids went crazy. They just like roared. They thought it was the funniest thing. They thought Lucy's comedy was hilarious. I mean, I have to tell you, and Joan Boyko was there. She's not on our call today, but she was in the room as well. And we both walked away like, oh my God, I really have this. I got it. Like, I really understand it. Then we did a tour around the district with a few other 4th grade classes, and a teacher, the next teacher we went to visit at Cabot Yorkshire, she was the only teacher who, when asked, has anyone not seen an I Love Lucy episode? She was the only teacher who raised her hand. And she didn't have to see an I Love Lucy episode. She really got the tool. And she also was able to generate the enthusiasm and the engagement and the laughter and the team building and the paired sharing using the same lesson that we saw on Tuesday at Cathedral City Elementary. And so aside from some hiccups and speed bumps and some
Speaking of hiccups and speed bumps,
a huge success.
sorry, Ellen, you froze.
Okay,
There.
did
I think we got what you froze right at the hiccups
Got
and
it.
speed bumps, and then you came back and said it was a huge success. So I think
exactly.
yeah, great.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so I'll move on to the next. Oh, I will end by saying Lucy and I had a conversation after the fact, and she declared herself being available to our district. Am I frozen? I only see Mike moving. Can I keep going?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Lucy has pledged that she is available to our district. She will go into classrooms. She will speak at events, gatherings, speak to the school board. She's a true partner, and we should think of ways that we can engage Lucy Arnez in our school district. And so that was a great way to end the week.
Thank you, Ellen.
I have 3 more, if it's okay, I'll continue.
Yep. And I did just ask, we've turned off your video, so that will help with the streaming. So we're still able to hear you, but just so you know, your video is off, but we're still able to hear you.
And we see your beautiful picture.
That's right. Your picture is up.
Yeah, I'm getting a hair. Thank you. Okay, the next I'll talk about is our alumni event. And that event we've been planning that for about 8 weeks now. We've got 9 volunteers at the table. 7 of those individuals are alum from various decades of graduating years. We've contracted with the Palm Springs Air Museum, and we are working with caterers and DJs and music. We are going to meet this evening to discuss our timeline. The event is 3 weeks away. And we had a wonderful time, and it was necessary for us to spend the time producing the background of this event before going out and actually selling tickets. And we might have actually gobbled up too much of our timeline with production and maybe not enough with ticket sales. And Mark and I met this morning. I will talk with the group this afternoon to see if it might be prudent to actually move this to the fall, where it's not so competitive of a marketplace. We are up against quite a few events in town this on April 9th. The biggest one is the Steve Chase Awards, and that's where most of our more senior graduates might be attending. So we're going to talk this afternoon. I'll be able to report back very shortly to determine whether we will continue and move forward with April 9th, or if we will reschedule that for the fall. Quick update on our shoe campaign. I had a wonderful meeting with Converse Corporation, and we are right now working on what they call a bulk order of 2,500 shoes. We are working with their group sales individual, their corporate social responsibility department, and we are working, we're hoping that they will be able to fill the gap, the fundraising gap. We are at $70,000 in money raised, and they are at a full retail of about 100,000. And so we've asked for some consideration for that 30%, which I think we've got a good chance of receiving that. Student Services, led by Lisa Todd, is collecting sizes along with gender, and she's got about a third of those sizes collected. About 10 more days, we hope to have the entire amount collected. It is Converse's largest purchase that they've seen. They said that they average about $400 for like corporate gifts and conferences, but they've never had a school district reach out to buy shoes for homeless kids, and never in this quantity. So they are very excited about the partnership, which of course excites us. So I will keep you posted on the outcomes of that. 5, the next topic is our wellness centers. We have just completed our 4th wellness center at Painted Hills Middle School. It was a very large operation in the sense of square footage, the size of the rooms that we retrofitted. I think it looks fabulous. It is a transformation. It was unbelievable, especially when you turn a storage closet into a crisis room, and it actually really looks like a wonderful place to decompress. We got rid of all the piñatas and they put them somewhere else. So it was really quite beautiful. Our next school that we'll be starting is Cabot Yorkshire Elementary School. It might be a good idea if at some point Mike, Simone, and I just discuss doing a presentation at the principal meeting. I did meet with Rancho Mirage High School principal and their lead counselor about the wellness center. There are a lot of questions, and it might be time as we start our continued expansion, continued expansion, that we give everyone the same information at the same time. That might be helpful.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. And our SMART project, our SMART program is full steam ahead. It is up and running. We have an amazing group of students and an amazing group of mentors. We're getting almost 100% participation every single week. We're at Desert Hot Springs High School and we're at Rancho Mirage High School, and that stands for Student Mentor Resource Training. We're going on 2 college field trips. One is April 13th and the other one is April 14th. And we are visiting Cal Poly Pomona, Laverne, Cal Baptist, I believe that's the name of it, Cal Baptist, and San Bernardino, UCS USB, San Bernardino. We are having a field trip to Cabot Yorkshire Museum on Saturday, March 26th. Mark and I talked again today about a spring campaign for SMART to help fund additional field trips. So you'll see that middle of April, we'll come out with a big push on sponsor a student and helping us get kids to more colleges so they can experience that. And then I will say, and John, this goes to our last discussion last month about the bands. And we do have a donor who is very interested in bands. The Desert Hot Springs High School would like to, as they come out of COVID and begin travel, they would like to stay in the domestic US to do any type of field trip traveling. Our donor, he's a little leery right now of field trips, and for this reason, he did not want any one group to be dependent on his money to be able to do something. So he was a little concerned. However, he did pledge $25,000 to buy musical instruments for the middle school bands, or music instruments, band instruments. So I think we're moving the family along, and I think that we'll see maybe some traction in 2022-23 school year regarding the field trips. And then I'll just end with some numbers. So to date, from our fiscal year, July 1st to now, the foundation has raised $574,000, and I should, yeah, 500. That's 574, 560. So or 578. So $574,578.65. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I will tell you we have $130,000 pledged. So it would be $130,000 on top of the 574.5. And that is my March report. And I'll pause to see if there's any questions or comments.
I do have a question about the alumni event. I was wondering if you've sent an email to all of the PSUSD staff, because a lot of our employees are future alumni, or I mean, past alumni, or they have kids that have graduated from our high schools. A lot of them.
So yes, we sent out 3,500 emails to our email list. We sent out emails to all PSUSD personnel.
Okay.
And it's been on social media. And we're going to look at the data today. Usually when we do a blast, whether it be email or social media, we see a very large spike. And this time it was a very kind of dull spike. And
Okay.
so it's a little concerning. And before we really hammer it out, we're going to have that discussion. And I think one of the other strategies, Karen, that you're reminding me of is something what events call a host committee, which is different than the production committee. You know, it might be like 20 people who have a fairly large network and will commit to bringing 5 people with them to an event. I mean, that's one way a lot of events populate their audience.
Okay. Sounds good. I know right now it might be, I mean, people are anxious for, I'm sorry, for the break, the 2-week break. And and just getting over not wearing masks and stuff. So I think people are, I don't know. It sounds like a great event. It really does. It sounds wonderful that you guys have planned. So hopefully it'll be very, very successful.
Thank you. And originally we wanted a fall event. We thought we would do an April event just to test the waters to see what lessons we would learn, because fall just seems to be, it's not as crowded event season wise. People aren't as nearly exhausted as they are, donors, staff, I mean, they're just not nearly as exhausted. And it's also reunion and homecoming time. So
Right.
we thought originally October.
That is true. A lot of the kids will come back that are in college right now to their homecoming events. That is true.
Yep.
Right.
Is there any other questions or comments about?
One comment and a question. I guess my comment is thank you very much, Ellen and Mark and Kathy, for taking our concern with the high school band here in Desert Hot Springs very seriously. And I know it takes time to generate those kind of funds to make those programs work, but your attention to it is much appreciated. So thank you. Ellen, I'm just curious on that 575,000 that you've raised so far, is that on top of what the district puts in, or does that include what the district puts in?
That's on top.
It is on top. Okay, really good. Nice job. Also, I got to say, I'm very impressed with your essay contest. To get that kind of interest, we tried to do through the Rotary Club here in Desert Hot Springs. We tried to do one at the high school. We've done it the last 3-4 years now, I guess, going on, but it's tough to get interest, particularly from the teachers. So maybe that classroom grant idea might be a way to get them to buy into it. So it sounds very successful.
Thank you. And one question I did ask, because if we have 20 or 22 English teachers, 12 are participating, which is a nice number. What I told was, I think this is just reality. Some teachers are brand new, they're in their first year teaching, or they've just come to the district. And so an essay contest was maybe a little overwhelming, or, was more difficult for them. We do know 7th grade is when they do essays. And so it was really about fitting it in. Now, of course, next year they'll know. And then just like any job and any company or corporation institution, there are some people who just won't participate. But I do think 12 is a nice number.
Yeah, I think that's a real good number for the first year. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
And then, yes, I'll just, for Simone, I can talk with Barbara England, but if you have any recommendations for the pledged amount of money for middle school band, some direction would be really helpful, since we really we're not immersed in that right now, so we wouldn't really know how to distribute that.
We'll talk about it, Ellen. Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a great pledge for somebody to make. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. I think Mark has a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Ellen said. As she mentioned, we met all this morning. Ellen and I frequently get together one-on-one, and it's really productive. And we really covered the waterfront in terms of discussing not just the end of this year, but next year. But I just wanted to point out 2 things. One, the mailing that Ellen mentioned, raising funds around the SMART program that's going to go out in April. That's going to be an email with an embedded video in it. And it's going to be $1,000 ask. It's the first time that we will have done a mailing at that level. So it frankly doesn't have to have that big a response for it to be really productive. But we're going to position it as a donation to cover trips to colleges now that we're back in that business. So that'll be an interesting test as well, to go out to our big list with a big ask. And I'm really eager to see how that does. The other thing is, I wanted to just remind everybody that we are actively building our board. It's a little bit more arduous than you would think, because we want board members who are both check writers and workers. And those 2 aren't often found together. So we're very close on 2 possible new members who attended our board meeting last month, and one of whom is coming back this month. So stay tuned for, I hope, an expansion of our board by 2 members by the end of this year.
Great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Any other comments?
Kathy, anything?
No, I'm always blown away, Ellen, by, as we go through this litany of things that you're doing, that for you, it seems like the day has 28 hours to 30 hours on what you get done. And it's always a pleasure to watch your nimbleness, which I think is really important because it shows that you respond quickly to, donors' concerns and are a good matchmaker to get this, handled. So I just, it's been a pleasure to watch, Ellen dart here, dart there, grab dollars from here and everywhere. And to get to that $574,000 amount when we still have a full quarter to go in the fiscal year is, I think, just a testimony to the staff. And any support we can give you, I think, would be just increase that, potential, enormously. So I just want to congratulate you on that, and, Javier and Edgar as well.
And Kathy, speaking of the staff,
you, Kathy.
Shout out to Edgar on our staff, who I just proofread his grant application to the JW Couch Foundation for a wellness center funding. And he did that all by himself, and he's developing into quite the grant writer, I must say.
Wow. Great. Well, I know as a board member that myself, I really appreciate all that the foundation does for our district and for our students. I mean, you provide a lot of extras and kind of out of the box thinking of programs that we can provide to our students. So really appreciate that.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Any other comments?
I just want to say ditto.
Ditto. You can say ditto. That's good, because I know you feel that way. Ditto. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think we both feel that way. We're really happy with what's going on with the foundation and there's just so many wonderful programs that we can present to our students that we normally wouldn't do. So thank you all for your hard work. Number 5, if there's any other board member comments.
No, thanks.
Dr. Sweezy, do you have anything to add?
Nothing in particular, just excited to hear all the updates from Ellen and the foundation.
Okay. All right. We have
Karen?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm just curious from Mike. I just was curious. I've been in some schools, and I'm just curious, how is it going with like optional masks, and what are you hearing out there? And we would love to kind of get an inside.
Yep, definitely.
On that.
Well, Dr. Kovac and I have been out to lots of schools this week. So we've been to elementary schools and middle schools. We had a scheduled visit at a high school that didn't quite happen today, but we asked all of our principals to report back on how it went the first couple of days with masks optional. And there really were no incidents at any school of any note. So it went very smoothly with parents and students and staff members. What we've observed, and again, it's just maybe 5 or 6 schools out of the 25 plus schools. In elementary, it looks as though approximately 20 to 30% of students are wearing their masks in the classroom. And at middle school, we were both very surprised to see that number is closer to 50 or 60% of students are still choosing to wear their masks. And then in having that conversation, somebody who works in a high school had said that high school students, when their teacher is still wearing a mask, they wear their mask. When they go into a classroom and the teacher does not have a mask on, kids are then more likely to take their mask off. So that seems to be pretty consistent throughout the district. It makes sense, I think, with middle and high school students really being self-determiners of whether or not they're going to wear a mask. And then our youngest learners, again, probably some just exuberance to take it off, or some directions from their parents about you are going to keep wearing a mask or you are not going to keep wearing a mask. But it's honestly gone very well. It's been nice for us to go out and visit classrooms, and we're still masked. So our whole visitation team was out wearing our optional masks at all of our school site visits, but things are going very well as far as that across the district. So that's good news.
Great. Any other comments? Okay, we'll go on to number 6, which is approval of the Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting minutes from February 17th, 2022. Hopefully everybody got a copy of those and got to read them. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. The next Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting is April 21st, 2022. And hopefully that works for everyone. And then we can maybe an update, or you'll send out something about, Ellen, about the mixer. And then more information on the SMART by then. Your program that you're sending out for donations to sponsor a student.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Great.
I'll have all of that. And you'll receive information prior to that meeting around the shoe distribution. There'll be an event around that as well, and we'll keep you informed. I do have one question about the meetings. Today's was 2:30, but I just want to confirm that on April 21st, I have it down for 2 p.m.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
me too.
Okay, 2 p.m. All right. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, maybe we have what, did I hear somebody? Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that. I'll
So
second.
moved. Oh, there you go.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody's opposed? No. Okay. John, could you stay after just a minute, and Dr. Sweezy, could I just talk to you for a second?
Absolutely.
Very quick question. All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank